Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Not Your Average Joel. So today we are on episode 41 today. And before I tell you what the topic is, I want to welcome back Tony to my channel. This is actually his fourth time back, so it is definitely good to have him back. And this is a topic that we've mentioned in the past couple of times that we've done recordings as far as our death episode. This was kind of briefly mentioned, and then in our very last episode that we did on insecurities, this was kind of mentioned as well. So before I tell you the topic, I just wanted to say welcome back, Tony, and it's good to have you again.
Hey, thanks for having me again.
Absolutely. So today's topic is actually going to be on health. So health is something that I struggle with. It's something like as regarding like weight is something that I definitely struggle with, and that is definitely going to be a big part of our topic today is regarding like our weight journey and things that can incorporate, that as far as trying to lose our weight, things that you can do when it comes to losing weight. And then we also will be talking about our health in the form of like sickness and illnesses and stuff like that as well. But before we get into that part, I think it would be good since we've kind of talked about our weight journeys and like trying to lose weight and all of that, if we would start on the weight side of things. And we might as well bring food and exercise into that as well, just because they all kind of go hand in hand as far as trying to lose weight and all that. So anyways, I guess as far as our weight journey, I guess I will have you kind of talk about your experience as far as weight and maybe even like what you've done as far as food, like food choices and like exercising as well.
All right, well, let's see. Um, so for the vast majority of my life, I just didn't care. I didn't really like exercise. It was boring. I didn't like PE. I just didn't really do anything. I got kind of offended when people would offer me like sugar-free soda. I say, I want my calories, I want my sugar, because I don't want the weird taste of the sugar-free stuff. Um, and especially with like school and stuff, like it's just school. When I was in school, I felt like I was busier and had less free time than being like actually employed. So, because of all the homework and stuff, so like it was just so far at the back of my mind, I just really didn't care. And especially having to stay up at odd hours and just being extra tired and hungry. I mean, you just kind of get by. Um, Plus, when you're walking around to classes and stuff, like you're kind of keeping active in a way. Um, but I guess what really hit for me was seeing myself in Christmas pictures around 2016. I was realized that there was no good angle because I got up to 247 pounds then, and um you know, and I mentioned this in the last episode, the whole insecurity thing. It's like, I decided amongst myself between me and my doctor, and I think I had talked about it with my mom, and that was it, was that I was going to make some positive changes and work towards a goal. I didn't want to tell anybody else because I didn't want to, again, like admit that I had a problem or that I felt like I had a problem or that I didn't like how I looked or how I felt or something like that. So I did some changing around in my diet, did a lot more focus on protein. Um, and at first, I actually started gaining weight because I was eating too much of it. And even though it was healthier food and I felt better, um, so I freaked out, went to my doctor, and they were like, "Well, are you counting calories?" And I said, "Oh, I guess I should do that." And I got this cool little app called MyFitnessPal, and you can choose to log your exercise on it too, so that you can say like how many net calories you actually have of the day left. Um, at the time, that was in 2017, and I was working. It was a co-op, which if you don't know is kind of like an internship that you do for 3 semesters instead of one. And I was living um, in another place at the time and working there. And so I realized they had a workout room I could use as part of being there. Um, so the first thing I did was actually really not healthy, but it worked, which was I limited myself to only 1,600 calories a day, which is not really the best for an adult male. Um, I don't think, but I feel like I might have actually gotten less than that. I'm not sure, but I whenever I got really hungry and my body was saying, "Okay, look, you need to eat. This isn't good." I cheated because I filled up on fiber supplements, and they make you feel full even though they don't really have any calories. It's just kind of filler. Um, Also help with digestion. Um, so it's always good. We really don't get enough fiber in our diets as is, but this was synthetic fiber, and so yeah, I just did that to convince myself, my body that I wasn't hungry. And I went and I would work out in the workout room 4 times a week. But then I still cheated, and on the weekends to keep my metabolism going, I guess I would just go back to just eating whatever I wanted on the weekend. And I did that, I want to say 3 or 4 months, and I lost about 30 pounds that way. Um, and that was pretty great. I got down to 217, and I was feeling better. I was looking, more trimmed, and it was kind of funny because, like I said, I hadn't announced this or anything. The first picture that appeared of me post weight loss at that time was actually when I got into a car accident in June of that year. And so people were like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" And also at the same time, like, "Oh wow, you're looking great." Um, so that was kind of funny, but basically from then on, for the rest of my time in school, because it would be that following semester that I would actually go to UAB when I first met you there. Um, for basically the rest of my time in school after that, I went back to the stressful. I couldn't focus on dieting, whatever. I didn't really gain it all back right away, but I got my first job for real. And the first 3 weeks there, they have catered lunch for you every day, and they always have snacks or food or whatever. And I just gained so much weight, just living the good life, you know. And I got all the way back up to 250 again. And this is of course we're talking like 3 or 4 years later by this point, but still it all came back and then some. And so then I tried uh well, I again it was something that was just I didn't care about for a while, but then once I kind of got once I got past the as I mentioned the first episode, the real estate issue of buying a house, and the crazy economy, and then getting another job that allowed me to have a little more freedom and flexibility in my work life balance and schedule. um and really just all these things kind of sort of came together more, and I could focus a lot more on me and myself. um I first tried keto, which is really popular because I had a friend who had recommended that to me and was really big on it because he had lost like 60 pounds on it, and I was like, okay, cool. I lost about, I want to say, 20 pounds on it, and then it just stopped working entirely. Like I hit a plateau, and I even got more strict on it afterwards. I tried cutting out all the synthetic sugars they have in there. Um, so it just wasn't working, and I stuck with it for another couple of months. And then by that time, it was about this time actually last year. Um, I was just like, well, it's not working, and it's coming up for the holidays, so I don't really think there's any reason to care. Um, so I let it go, and I gained back some more weight again. So I got up to about 238.8 pounds, still really feeling it, still just blah. But my mom had been trying to sell me on this fad diet called Optavia, which um, she had been on for a long time and she had lost about 100 pounds. It was crazy. It's a very extreme diet. There's really no lenience on it. You can't even really have cheat days on it. It's extreme. It's basically like a cult, but that's a whole other thing. It's a multi-level marketing scheme, so they, want you to get in there and you get so successful on it and then you get other people to get on it and then you become their coach and you can make money with it, et cetera, et cetera. I wasn't really interested in it for all those reasons. I was just using it for, of course, my own ends, and it was very expensive. So it was something at first that was very prohibitive to me, but you know, I after I had gotten like a holiday bonus last year, I was like, why not? I wasn't really sure what I was expecting from it, but with that, basically you get one real meal a day, and it's a very specific low carb meal that's within certain parameters, and that's all you get. Um, and then you have five little, they're called fuelings. They're basically their power little snacks. You have to time your meals, your eating times exactly 2.5 hours apart, basically throughout the day. Because it's like the idea is that it keeps your metabolism going just enough while you're basically starving yourself. And the food they give you is loaded with tons of nutrients and vitamins and minerals. It's great for you, but considering you're getting so little of it, you are pretty much starving yourself in the healthiest way possible. Um, that being said, the first couple of weeks, I immediately noticed a difference. I started losing weight really fast. I want to say, so I started January 14th at 238.8 pounds, and I I have the whole thing logged on like a note on my phone, but I lost pretty consistently, even with breaks sometimes, or I would mess up, or like I went to go visit family and I didn't really get to stick with it during that time. But like I lost a lot of weight. I got all the way down from that to, let's see, I guess uh June is when I kind of started to taper out. I got down to like 195 and ended up down about 190, which is kind of where I'm at now. Um, and I feel better. I could still trim a lot more. Technically speaking, BMI, I'm still just a little bit above the acceptable range, even though it is again a range. But I've kind of shifted more to focusing on building muscle at this point and toning. Um, because at this point, like once you get to even this rate, like you're not, like the number on the scale is not going to matter as much because with that diet it was very restrictive. They didn't want you working out because some of the weight you were losing, no doubt, I'm pretty sure was actually muscle. Like you're just, I mean, you're starving your body. There's really no nice way to put that. But if you want to lose a lot of weight fast, I mean, technically speaking, that was like what, almost 50 pounds off, just from that. So, um, it works. It's expensive. It's not really meant to be a long-term thing though, so you still do have to go learn like the important healthy decisions and lifestyle stuff like that. And because like now I'm back to counting my calories, and I'm not really, I don't really want to do that long term either. But the idea is that I'm still at a calorie deficit so that I can still burn off some of the fat while I'm trying to build muscle. So I've been focusing a lot more on the routine at the gym. I've been in contact with some dietitians who've, been kind of helping me, figure out a way, which way to go and get more experienced with the weights, the machines, all that stuff. Um, and I check in with them like early next year, and we'll see because they actually have this really cool scale at their office. It's called a high impedance scale. It sends an electrical current through your body, and it measures how much body fat you have based on the kind of resistance. Um, and so they'll be able to tell if I'm really making the kind of progress that I'm wanting. Um, Whereas right now, if I just hop on the scale, I'm not really seeing much change. I'm just kind of steady. But I mean, it is an ongoing kind of thing. I mean, health and fitness is always going to be an ongoing thing, and it's really hard to start. And it does get easier, but you have to keep doing it as far as like working out and eating right and stuff. This this part of the year is kind of just whatever because it's that time of year. Um, yeah, it's the most wonderful time of the year. But I mean, I don't feel terribly terrible because I mean, like, like I had some family over for an early Thanksgiving this last weekend, and because they don't get that side of the family doesn't really get Thanksgiving off, so we uh we celebrated with traditional Thanksgiving carbs, and I got right back to the gym this morning. Um, Despite all of the overeating and everything that happens this weekend. And it's one of those things that it's like, I mean, you can really get down into the nitty gritty about all your calories and stuff like that. I mean, if you don't go way over, you're usually pretty much okay. It's not like, if you're not losing, you're gaining kind of thing. Because that's how it was on Optavia. That's how they wanted to make you feel. That's how it felt. Because as soon as you messed up, you could really feel it. Then you could see it on the scale because of like how your body stores carbs and holds on to like more water weight because of that. If you eat more than or outside of the parameters of the plan.